Welcome to Grow Getters with host Davis Michaelsen, who's looking for and discovering agriculture's most inventive side hustles. We'll meet resourceful and innovative entrepreneurs who share how they make extra money moonlighting to keep their farms and families going strong. From starting new businesses to tapping into new technologies, these Grow Getters are redefining what it means to be a farmer.
Hey everybody, my name is Davis and this is Grow Getters. And we're talking to farmers and farm people who've got a little something going on the side. I'm super excited about today's conversation. Before we get there, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Today, we traveled to Pennsylvania to chat with Stephanie Painter from Painterland Farms. She represents a family-owned dairy farm where she and her sister have figured out a way to provide their brand of country goodness to your table. Painterland Farms milks 400 cows twice a day and utilizes roughly a third of its milk to make yogurt. Here's a quote. "Ever since we were barefoot little girls, we've dreamed of sharing the magic of our family's farm. When you hold a cup of Painterland Sisters organic Skyr yogurt, you hold our dream in your hand." Skyr, that's a new word for me. We'll get to the bottom of that. But first, Stephanie Painter, welcome to Grow Getters. Thank you for your time today.
Yes, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here.
Absolutely. We're thrilled to talk to you. Lots to get to here today, but let's start at the beginning. I have it here. You grew up at Painterland Farms, in the rolling hills of Tioga County, Pennsylvania. Family's been there for 4 generations, 4th generation dairy. That's awesome. Tell us about the farm. What goes on there?
Yeah, so we grew up in the rolling hills of northern Pennsylvania. We grew up along our 13 cousins and our aunts and our uncles, our parents. And so we, like you mentioned, we have 400 cows and they're all different breeds. So we have a colorful pasture, and we also we grow crops on Painterland Farms as well. And we sustain our grazing animals. So they're out on pasture rotational grazing, and we supplement them with a little bit of feed that we grow right on Painterland Farms.
That keeps the Painter family quite busy, I would imagine.
Yes, there's never a dull moment. I think everyone knows when you have a dairy farm, or probably any kind of farm, but I always heard it in the dairy context, you're married to the farm, right? So there wasn't very many family vacations off the farm, a lot of picnics in the fields,
Sure.
you know, where our dad was working growing up, and a lot of going to the rivers to swim, not to too many beaches.
Right.
Being in the middle of northern Pennsylvania. But yeah, so Hayley and I, we got out into the world, and we realized people are completely disconnected from the source of their food. We realized that we wanted to make sure to vertically integrate our family's dairy and continue it for the next generation, as we are the 4th generation. I have 3 children, and so I want to make sure that there's a farm there to pass down to my kids and my siblings' kids and my cousins' kids.
Wow. I love that. The idea of looking ahead to generations to come and setting them up to succeed in the future as best we can, from what we know now. That's really terrific. Now, you and your sister have a super impressive list of accomplishments. I definitely want to get to some of those. But you touched on something just then that I definitely wanted to talk about from the top there, that disconnect. People don't necessarily understand where their food comes from, or the disconnect between the urban and the rural citizen of this country is growing wider. I would love it if you could talk to us just a little bit about the importance of properly caring for dairy cows. I know it's a priority for you guys. You make it a priority right here on the website. Just talk about caring for dairy cattle, please.
I think, as all farmers would state, that our cows and our land are first and foremost. We are the caretakers, right? Farmers are the caretakers. There's the stewards of the land and the animals. And we want to make sure that plain and simple, they eat before we do in the morning, right? That's how much they are our priority. So they're out on pasture rotationally grazing. We have about 11 pastures they switch back and forth to. Well, I guess, rotate too.
Mhm.
And we, again, milk twice a day. I grew up milking cows. And then I really wanted to figure out how to sustain it in my own way. And I also, I guess I'm not the one that loved milking cows in the morning. And I was wondering why all the other kids growing up didn't have to. And then
Yeah.
when we got out into the world, I realized how, lucky and fortunate we were that we didn't totally understand, because we were hidden up in our neck of the woods, that people didn't grow up to have beautiful animals, to make sure that we're properly caring for their diets, we're properly caring for their feet, right, their bodies, if they get sick, just making sure that we make these animals our priority, and that we do our best job. As I am a mother now, I guess my fiance David, he is always wondering, because he didn't grow up on a farm, like, oh my God, you're such an animal person. I'm like, yes, well, you intrinsically have relationships with these animals.
Mhm.
And that's part of being a farm girl.
Well, absolutely. And I grew up on a farm myself, and I'm glad that you mentioned their feet as well. For 10 years, I was a professional horseshoer.
Oh,
And
yeah,
I could
that's cool.
I could preach about foot care all day long. And it ain't just for horses, mules, donkey. Yeah, those cattle need their feet taken care of too, don't they?
Yes, they do. They need to go to the salon, or most likely, as you know, have the salon come to them
That's
all
right.
the time, right? And
Yep.
it's not really beauty as the rest of the world would think. It's really about the whole care of the animal, right?
Yeah.
Like, we need to take care of them so that they don't become lame, right? And
Mhm.
then they get to the point past being able to take care of. So we really have a preventative method when it comes to hoof care and just animal care in general.
Well, and I mean, I can probably make the assumption cows are too heavy to just carry around. You want them up walking if you
Yeah,
can.
not like my mini poodle behind me, where I can just pick her up and put her in my purse.
Well, Stephanie, let's get back to the farm. According to my notes here, in the early 2000s, your family switched to organic farming. Can you talk to me about that switchover?
It wasn't really a big deal for our family to switch to organic farming, because we were already doing that, right? So just the way that we naturally sit in the rolling hills of northern Pennsylvania, there are places where tractors and equipment can't go, right? So we naturally graze our animals anyways, because I mean, there's nothing else for that land to do besides being grazed. And so we didn't use herbicides or pesticides, any chemical. So it was really an easy switch over. It was just one day my grandpa, said to us at his kitchen table, where we have all of our big important meetings and a big brunch from my grandma every single morning. And he, said that I think we should to actually get the certification. And
Hmm.
at that point, when the decision was made, we all agreed, and it wasn't that big of a deal, because we were basically doing that anyway.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Um, okay, getting back to some of those accomplishments, recently included on Forbes magazine's list of 30 under 30.
Yeah.
Uh, that's a huge deal. What's the story there?
Yeah, that was super cool. So I just turned 30 in the beginning of March, and the beginning of March is actually 10 years to the date I told my dad when I hit 18. I'm like, Dad, we cannot come back to the farm and help sustain it unless we get out into the world. So we'll come back in 10 years, right? We're going to go and see the world. Anyway, so that was one of our accomplishments. We launched the yogurt exactly 10 years when I was 28, launched
Oh,
into
wow.
retail. And then our next accomplishment was like, hey, we saw really cool, powerful women that were helping their families' businesses on the Forbes 30 under 30. And so my sister and I looked at each other, we're like, we want to do that. We want to represent dairy farming, right? Agriculture in Forbes 30 under 30. Like, wouldn't that be amazing to make it relatable and make dairy cool and fun to the general consumer? And so that's what 30 under 30 really means to Hayley and I, that, hey, like, we're making dairy farming mainstream.
Hmm. Well, that makes me very happy. I'm a huge fan of dairy, just in general.
Yeah.
In fact, when my wife and I were dating, I wooed her very successfully with various fine cheeses. A little cheese and crackers goes a long way with my gal. She
Yes,
likes the manchego. She likes the manchego.
the Spanish cheese.
See. As I understand, you and your sister tried making cheese first, right?
Oh yeah. So we were like, okay, we came back. I said 10 years, right?
Mhm.
It was a little bit before that. And we were like, hey, it's time. We've gotten our college education and we've gotten Hayley did an internship making cheese. And I actually worked as a manager for an antique auction company. So I was like, okay, I got some business experience, right? And then we were like, let's build an entire processing plant so that we can take the milk directly from the tank and, pipe it underground right to the factory, right? Right to the
Wow.
cheese factory. And
It's a
that's
big
what
project.
yeah. And so we hired the architect. We, worked with the local, I guess, offices and stuff to get all the permits, and we're figuring that all out. We went to a ton of different cheese plants, dairy plants, started with a dairy equipment provider, really focused on what we were going to buy. And then that was about a year and a half of working on a business plan, 120 pages.
Wow.
To figure that out, about to present to the bank. And then we realized that we have this $10 million dairy processing facility, and that's going to utilize all of our milk's going to go through that, right? So we could take control of our own destiny. And then we realized, oh my gosh, like where are we going to sell the end product, right? Like we don't have a market.
Right.
We
It's
don't
a good
know,
question.
right?
Yeah.
And so within a month, we figured out the word co-packer. We figured out, we partner with an amazing co-packer right here in Pennsylvania. So we utilize co-manufacturer here in the state of Pennsylvania to make our organic Skyr yogurt. And well, that saved us $10 million and a little bit riskier endeavor. So
yeah. I love it. I want to ask you, as someone who's familiar not just with the dairy world, but also somewhat familiar with the cheese world. Do you have an opinion, or do you know what is the correct way to eat string cheese? Do you just bite it off? Maybe a knife and fork? Are you peeling them off like this? Because sometimes they don't always want to give. Like this one's kind of.
It depends on how hungry I am. It depends on how hungry I am, right? It's like if I have time to peel the cheese, I'll peel the cheese. If I'm hungry, I'm eating in 3 bites. That's all there is, plain and simple.
Good to know. Good to know. So I was afraid I'd been eating string cheese incorrectly my entire life, and I just can't live with that. Can't live with that. Let's move on a little bit. Let's move on to the specifics of the yogurt, because really this is what I wanted to talk with you about, the business around that. But before we do, I thought it might be fun if we play Name That Tune.
All right.
Are you interested?
I'm interested. I'm just not too sure how good I'll be, but I'm interested.
Okay. Well, I'm not too sure how good I'll be either. So we're in the same boat. I've switched up the words to a well-known song. Okay, I think it's pretty well-known. I think you'll get it.
Okay.
I want to see if you can figure out what it is. You want to try?
Oh, goodness. Yes.
Okay, here we go. We'll do this, and then we'll get to talking about yogurt. I don't want French toast if there's no yogurt left for me tomorrow. Go online, find some Painterland Sisters organic yogurt.
I wish I had my lighter. Fantastic.
Excellent.
Good job blanking on the name of the actual song, but now I'm going to have the song stuck in my head for at least the rest of the evening.
It's Yogurt Rhapsody, in case you want to look it up. Yogurt Rhapsody. That's what it is.
Hey, my sister's really, really on this thing about having a jingle for our business. And so I think that we
really?
Thank you so much.
Okay. Well, I've actually got a couple for you to choose from. We'll talk more about that later.
Sweet. I'm excited.
First, I want to talk to you about my little brother. Okay.
All right.
And we're going to bring this around to yogurt. My little brother is lactose intolerant. Always has been. It's possible he has never had a cup of yogurt in his entire life. Instead of ice cream, it was always sherbet. We had soy juice. Notice I didn't say soy milk. We had soy juice for him to drink when he was young. Have the Painterland sisters cracked the code, and maybe my bro can finally get some yogurt, some brogurt, if you like.
100% yes. So 68% of people in the United States have some sort of lactose sensitivity. So there's varying degrees of that, but that is as dairy farmers and people who obviously love dairy, we wanted to give the general consumer, the people, we wanted to give them a yogurt that they can enjoy, a real dairy yogurt that
A yogurt for the people.
a yogurt for the people. And
I love
so
that.
this is the yogurt for the people, the yogurt that everyone can enjoy regardless of lactose sensitivity.
Excellent. Excellent. So lactose free, organic, also flavored. We'll get into the flavors in a minute here. Because I want to talk about the production process just a little bit. And that word Skyr, it's an Icelandic yogurt, as I understand. You talked about you didn't really feel like ponying up the dough to build a $10 million factory. There's a nearby creamery that provides the processing. And I'm wondering if that creamery, because they do Skyr yogurt, is that why you opted for this variety of yogurt, or was there another reason behind it?
So we spoke to a lot of co-packers, right? To figure out what we actually want to make with our family's milk. And we chose Skyr specifically because it uses 4 cups of milk to 1 cup of yogurt. So it is the most nutrient dense way to utilize our family farm's milk. So we have this awesome milk. We do, a great job, and we're very proud of the fact of how we take care of our animals and our land and our operation. And that produces a wonderful, high nutrient dense milk. And so we wanted to take this premium milk and figure out how to make translate that to the most premium dairy product on the shelf. And so that is why we chose organic Skyr yogurt.
How many flavors have you got going right now?
We have 6 flavors, and one of them is named after my daughter, Meadow. And we have a meadow berry, which is a mixed berry, but meadow berry is one, more on brand. Obviously named after my cutie pie. And it's been selling very well. And then we have a Savannah's peach named after my 6-year-old stepdaughter, Savannah, which has gone neck and neck with meadowberry. So I actually prefer Savannah's peach, but I don't tell meadowberry that.
I won't tell. No, you're safe with me. Well, you're the fastest growing yogurt brand in terms of unit and dollar percentage year on year in the natural foods space. Do I have that's right? That's impressive.
You have that correct. Yeah.
Wow.
So we launched in March of 2022, and just in 2023, which is our first full year, first 12 months, full year in business, we sold $4 million worth of yogurt. And so what that really translates to is the almost 2.5 million cups of yogurt that we were able to produce. And we view that as 2.5 million times we're able to utilize American organic dairy milk, right here in the Northeast. So from our family's farm and a couple other farms in our general vicinity. And that is that many times that we're able to take a product and connect to the consumer. That is our conduit to connect to the consumer, to explain the importance of supporting American farmers in general.
Very nice. I happen to have some of the other guys' yogurt here with me. I'm just going to do a little taste test. I have not had the chance to taste yours yet, but let's see how this goes.
Okay.
I mean, creamy, I guess. I can feel some nutrients in there, but to be honest, it does nothing for me. And in fact, I feel dead inside. This yogurt does nothing for me.
That's what I try not to do.
There's a yogurt finder sort of a tool, and I looked it up. I'm down here in Kansas City. There are a lot of places where I can find some Painterland Sisters Organic Skyr yogurt, right?
Yes, there's a lot of places. So we're in about 2,200 stores nationwide, all 50 states. So just right before we were sold our very first cup of yogurt within 2 years, March of 2022. In March of 2024, we hit 50 states and 2,200 locations, primarily in the natural channel. So independents in rural communities, natural grocers, Sprouts, Whole Foods, Central Market, Nugget, Giant here in Pennsylvania has been a great, wonderful partner. So yeah, we're really proud people are busy, right? Like I'm busy. I honestly, Instacart half of my groceries. I have 3 kids, a business, dogs,
Yeah.
chickens, goats, all the things, you know what I mean? And so I want something that's convenient. I love, obviously, to go up to a farm specifically to get what they grow and produce on their family's farm, but I don't have the time as much as I'd like, right? We don't have time
Mhm.
to drive 15 minutes out of the town or the city, or longer than that in some places, and then turn left on a dirt road 15 more minutes and then turn another left to get farm fresh products. So being in 2,200 locations with the convenience of retailers,
Yeah.
we're able to provide a farmer owned product like they would get from our family's dairy farm right at a local store shelf. So it's very easy for them to get a nutrient dense farmer owned product.
Well, let's make it easier for our viewers to find some of that delicious Skyr yogurt. Do you have a website?
Yeah, you can go to painterlandsisters.com and go into our store locator, add your zip code, and find store near you. And then we also are looking for wonderful Moo Crew members that would like to be a part of our sister herd and really get the word out about our product. We'll give coupons to pass along to your family and friends.
I'm sorry, did you say sister herd?
Yes, sister herd.
Very nice. What is that? What is
So,
that?
so it went from a sisterhood
Uh-huh.
to at Expo West, we were doing a pitch slam, and we had some of our marketing team members dressed up as cows. And so I was like, come on, this is an awesome sisterhood. And I looked at them and I was like, no, this is more than that. This is a sisterhood. But really, this is about our company is a registered benefit company, and it's mission first. It's about connecting consumers to the farmer and helping them understand why it's so important to connect with farmers as family farms are going out of business at an alarming rate, and we need to do something about this, not just for our food choices, but for the environment, for Mother Earth herself, and for our future generations. And we really want people to, like, we're very open with people. We want people to be our friends. We want people to help tell the story, and we want to help tell people's story, right? So it's really a collective here, and that's where the sisterhood comes in.
Can I ask you, because I'm thinking through in the year 2000, your family decided to make what for them was a small leap over to organic production. Um, did Painterland Sisters necessarily target the natural food space, or is that just the space where you found the welcome mat laid out?
We strategically targeted the natural food space because we have a high priced premium yogurt with a lot of different attributes to that. So it is about a $3 yogurt. It's lactose free, that costs money. It is 6% milk fat, that costs money. It doesn't have any fillers or funny stuff in the actual yogurt, right? So it's more milk per cup, and we all know that costs money. And so we didn't want to cut corners here. So we knew that if we were going to start getting our yogurt out into the world, it had to be to an audience that was used to kind of going into the store and looking for those attributes.
Mhm.
And so we had to sell into all the retail stores that we are in, right? So we had to pitch them and hopefully get some shelf space. Yogurt, refrigerated space on the store shelves is the hardest to get into. It's the smallest, right? And so we needed to figure out how to differentiate ourselves and at the highest price on the market for yogurt. And so that's why we strategically picked premium natural grocery channel. And we're able to also work with a lot of local distributors here in Pennsylvania to make sure that we get to all the nooks and crannies of the world, like where we're from. We're from a rural area, right? Like, I mean, we had dial up a lot longer than a lot of people did, you know?
Yep.
And so we wanted to make sure it's really important that we have fair quality of food. So I know when we were growing up, we raised most everything ourselves that we were eat that had any kind of nutritional value. You know, in a lot of the rural areas, it's kind of the dollar store, right? And so we're working hard to get our brand and our yogurt into the nooks and crannies of the world too.
Well, and your year-on-year growth has been extremely impressive. So it looks like mission accomplished there, at least for the time being. I want to pull together some threads, put a lid on our conversation pretty quick here. But first, Stephanie, okay, let's get to that next musical selection. I can tell you're very anxious, very excited about it. I don't know, a jingle, maybe an ode is more what I would call it,
Okay.
to Painterland Sisters Organic Yogurt. Put a fancy intro on it. Icelandic yogurt from Painterland Farms. The dairy product they produce will build strong arms. Painterland Sisters, your yogurt makes me go, yo, get me some too. Probiotics and other good stuff. Better than a piece of toast without the crust. Painterland Sisters on the Grow Getter Show.
I love it. And my sister will love it too. And that is her jingle, her ode.
You're too kind. Too kind. Man, everything's just working out great for you and your sister and the farm. I'm curious, take me back to the farm one more time before I cut you loose. How has the success of the yogurt company helped the family farm?
It's when we first sat around the table with our dad and our 2 uncles currently own Painterland Farms now, and our 2 brothers and cousin work on the farm. Anyways, when we sat around the table a couple years ago and we're like, hey, we're gonna make a Skyr yogurt. First of all, they're like, what is Skyr? We're like you're skiing. And so from that moment to now, they're really proud. Our grandpa passed away way too early. He was 69 10 years ago, and he was always the dreamer of the family. And so right before he passed away, we promised him, and we're like, hey, Grandpa, we're gonna do something. We're gonna do something with the family farm. We're gonna get our name out there, and we're gonna continue on. And we promised him that. And so it's really beautiful to see that promise come to fruition, just to see, our grandpa's last name across 2,200 shelves nationwide. It's a real dream. It's a real dream as a farmer to be able to represent farmers nationwide as well. So I think that's where it is. It's pride. That's what family farming is, right? It's pride. We don't do it because we think we're going to get rich farming dairy. You know what I mean? We do it.
I do, unfortunately, yes.
Grandparents and our mom and dad and great grandparents did, and we work together, and we're proud of what we do, and we're proud of how we take care of the animals. We're proud of how we take care of the land. We're proud of our community. Our communities, rural communities in general, are just incredibly strong and resilient. We're proud to come from a rural community. And anyways, it's pride. That's what it comes down to. And we're super grateful for everyone.
Well, a thread that I'm noticing during our conversation, Stephanie, is that thread of succession. You've got a multi-generational farm here that's been in the same family for 4 generations. You've got granddad who unfortunately passed away, but left something with you that you've now been able to turn into something that will flourish, and something that will contribute to the lives of your own children. It's a really great thread to have going through this whole conversation.
Yeah, thank you. It's family, right? You can't have a family farm without family, and it's dedicating ourselves to the greater good of family and farming. So
right. Okay, real quick, one last question. What's next for the Painterland Sisters?
What's next? We're going to keep rock and rolling, trying to hold up on our pants as we cruise through this wild world of selling yogurt. And we really just want to be a staple on shelves and known for our premium dairy products. So we're excited to continue with this company and have something that, again, we can pass down to our kids.
I love that so much. Stephanie, there's an awful lot that we could talk about. We should maybe do this again sometime. But let me just cut you loose there from Painterland Farm. Oh, hold on a second. I think I'm getting something. I think I got one more. She liked the manchego. She liked the manchego. She liked the manchego. She liked the manchego. The manchego cha-cha. I'll finish that one for next time. Stephanie Painter, I'm going to end with that. Great talking and such. Painterlandsisters.com is where you can find a local retailer near you. Is that correct, Stephanie?
That is absolutely correct. Yes.
Painterlandsisters.com. Say hey to Hayley for us. We missed her today. But from Painterland Sisters Organic Skyr Yogurt and Painterland Farms, Stephanie Painter, thanks so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Production support provided by Jack Heffron and Zach Zingula. Find Grow Getters on Farm Journal's YouTube channel and listen to it wherever you find your favorite podcasts. So for Farm Journal Studios, I'm your pal, Davis Michaelsen. Thanks for watching, and hey everybody, let's get out there and grow get 'em.
Grow Getters is a production of Farm Journal Studios, where no one grows alone.